Ladies and Germans, how are you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
This is Rangru. Hello, hello, hello.
And folks, today on Shell, we have ourselves a little bit of Operation Unthinkable. What's going on today, sir? Who's here?
Left hand side in the blue, we have Xstark playing 26 cards infantry with a Maverick income. Right hand side in the red, we have Colonel Koenig playing 2nd French Armoured with a balanced income.
So, I'm sure out there we've made the joke before, but the second French, i.e., we'll live fast, die young, leave a pretty corpse. I know you guys saw the deck for this. Not expecting a lot of action in C, are they?
No, they're just gonna hopefully, make it long enough to just survive. Now, of course, this be a pretty tough map here for the French, as they kind of lack the infantry spam that other divisions such as 26 has. There's going to be, I think, very much about, good utilization of fire support, tanks, and the few aircraft they have to get the job done.
That's another thing, isn't it? There's not a ton of aircraft on either side, but we do have a couple of flying bricks over on 26th side, the IL-237, which I feel like we don't see that particular variant that often. So it'd be kind of fun to just see how devastating they are against French vehicles.
Yeah, especially on this map where our aircraft anti-tank can come in great clutch, as there's a lot of forest to block your line of sight.
Certainly is. Certainly is. The other thing, too, that we actually have to always give a little bit of a nod to is those M8 Greyhounds. Kind of one of those things that I think when you start looking at World War II in the first place, think to yourself, okay, cool, you know the T-34, your Panzers and things like that, but no one really pays attention to what shockingly was probably a pretty solid weapon system.
Yeah, gets the job done, just the basic light armored, recon car, but that's what you really need. And actually doing a good enough job here, pinning down everything with its machine guns. Dealt with both T-34s, right? Well, it's also had fire support backing them up as well, which I'm actually quite surprised about. And this is a very strong startup here, just utilizing, the classic light armored 50 cal spam, which is required from the French early on to get these advantageous pushes.
Yeah, I mean, and losing a single Greyhound for it is not terrible at all. I mean, that is your only other Greyhound in here. But heck, we get to Phase B, we do have ourselves a couple of Shermans. I mean, Recon Shermans, I think, is probably the funniest thing in the world for me, because nothing says snoop and scoot like an M4A3.
Yeah, or like a Recon Panther.
Exactly.
It's a medium tank.
Exactly. Compared to an Abrams, yeah, that's true.
Yes.
And you can see in the meantime, though, the limits of the Stuart, as we are going to see a 100 mil pen, well, 45 mil, but a 100 pen value, taking up one of this north central position. That's kind of the thing, isn't it? If the Soviets can get their rather well-powered, in this particular, let's say, lineup, 45 mil guns on the flanks of these Stuarts, that can be over real quick. We'll see.
Yeah, and even just the PTRDs from a lot of the Soviet infantry can be enough to deal with the annoying half-track, Greyhounds, and heck, even Stuart spam, which will be coming his way. You need to be knocking out those light vehicles if he wants to hold. Yeah, we're also seeing as well, if he can just hold the forest fights, you just have more infantry. Don't expose yourself to light vehicles, as we've seen the Sturmoviki Rocks positioning themselves in the perfect position to actually utilize the double flamethrowers and just annihilating the chapeaus.
Like, that's a question, isn't it? So any artillery that can come back the other direction, and there is, but it's ridiculously expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a price of mortar half-tracks. We love mortar half-tracks, but we understand it can be quite a costly investment, but a very good run. I mean, playing an American equipment division, so you have radios out the wazoo, meaning it's just so easy to get in good artillery strikes, and he's gonna need that artillery if he wants to push these locations, because he cannot be affording to grind in these forests.
No, he shouldn't be able to do so. Ooh, 45 mil takes on one of the command stewards. Hitting the right unit and hitting it very well. Especially with T-34Es being brought on in. Now, there's no flamethrowers in these guys. These guys are not as interested in fighting in the YouTube comment section. But, all the same, M10, probably the sole defender of French laxity in this area, and I think he's going to die. Yep, there he goes.
Yeah, those T-34s are just so cost effective in this sort of engagement, and bringing in that much needed fire support to deal with the French light armor, and Racine is now opening up with his infantry to clear up the rest of our position, so very effective maneuvering from Xstark. Oh, the 6-pounder is in a pretty good flank position. He might be able to get both T-34s, he does, so buying him a bit of time.
6-pounder, please. We're not in the metric system. Get this is a 57 mil. It's a 57 mil. I got to
cannon
here for a second.
57 mil, in case you forget it's a cannon.
Exactly, but only one end because the second one's too expensive. Blame the French economy on that. In the meantime, though, we are going to see this entire blob get a little bit too aggressive, even as an IS-1 gets called in, and they get forced back, rocked on their heels by a single squad of Voltigeurs and Sapais.
Yeah, just the fire support of, a few well-placed machine guns, and there we go. I believe that's a mortar half-tracker. Yep, and the mortar half-tracker is on the field, and that is exactly what he needs to be doing, just completely suppressing the area. But once again, like, Koenig doesn't have a whole lot to really follow up through. The mortar half-tracker was an expensive investment, and he's not... he has a 13-11, just because he has a little bit of the central position, but it's not exactly a crazy advantage. At the same time, he doesn't need crazy advantage, because he is playing that balance.
Yeah, but, the more and more that I think about it, we talked a little bit about game theory of economy in the last match on Tuesday. By the way, Sturmoviki and Flame Troops go head-to-head, and Sturmoviki being, 4 times as strong, do pick up that dub. I feel like the French kind of shoot themselves in the foot a bit when you play balanced. I don't know. I feel like this is... I said this for a reason. They are a group that you try to hit hard, and then you do nothing else. You play the first 20 minutes, and then you pray you don't get to see.
Yeah, you really should be playing them as Vanguard or Maverick, because you just want to be doing MA Greyhound spam, drifting around corners, just getting your infantry, spearheading into those deep penetration zones, and just holding that area, and praying to God that you have enough points to win the match.
I mean, it is 15-9 right now, courtesy of picking up a couple of cheeky flanks here and there. In fact, geez, there's quite the schnoz showing up, and the map kind of looks like a slowly growing rabbit right now, as the north-central part of the map, well, it goes red.
Yeah, actually, pretty good pickups here. I think Xstark should be able to pretty easily just not shut down the push, but shut down the massive boat. Just a few guards infantry to hold the flanks. This would be a very good area for Koenig. Oh, we can see if Godvision has nothing in front of him. He's also no, because he has all these, the big boat. For him to try to make some sort of push just happen in the center, to go around the hill at least, and then just try to shut down that road. He needs to be using his light armor, offensively and maneuverably. You don't want to be getting them into those trade-up fights. He's going to lose.
Exactly. I think it's one of those things, if you ever have a fair fight in any map, you're playing it wrong.
Mm-hmm. That's why I use map hacks.
Exactly. I just get to point fingers and tell people to do it better. But we're back to a 14-10 over here because we do two T-34Es. It wasn't Su-85. Where's that IS-1? So has he redeployed it?
It's on the hill.
Oh wow. Okay. I don't know how I missed a giant thing like that. Focusing too much on the majesty of the T-34. And this 57, I think, is going to unmask his position, take like 2 shots, and then get blapped by whatever survives the first 2 rounds from him.
Yeah, that's most likely the case. And if Xstark can just keep forcing these head-on engagements against his big blob of armor, he should be doing pretty well for himself. There we go, the 57mm gets a good hit. That 82mm needs to get online to start suppressing the area. T-34 does go down. Roll the cannon, get more cannon kills.
There's only one dude on the gun, so... Gets a second kill. Oh no, I guess there were 2. Okay.
Yeah.
In any particular case, for some reason I was looking at it, I didn't see any kind of number whatsoever. The 7.62, of course, the Browning M1919, just doing its job. Just putting a bit of suppressing fire. And legitimately, I'll trade it Browning for a 57mm in this particular position.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah. But still pretty, like, neither side has gotten, I'd say, enough of a force to make a major push happen in center. It's still just a bit of a stalemate between both sides here.
It is, but I'm trying to think about, as we're going to phase B, what the heck is Stark bringing in? And the first answer to that is KV-1s. That will be fine. That will be just fine. KV-1s, ZSUs, and Strafniki. That's a nice first call in. Not because we've seen a ton of air power so far, because we haven't, but it's good to have that infantry support with the ZSU. It's good for you to go and have that nice kind of ridiculous, I call always the breakwater. But with the IS-1 and the KV-1, IS-1 can just tank for days, and the KV-1 can scoot in behind and just be a pain. So, kind of hard to complain too much about that.
These, and we're seeing a second mortar half-track being invested in here, so quite heavy investment in artillery to just deal with the infantry, and I do think that's a good investment, especially to deal with the infantry inside a forest. The guard DP blob is going to get into the forest. However, these are only guard DPs. They're not exactly the best in CQC. And the French here bringing some Chapeaux. I believe there are some Nereves being brought out as well. So we should be able to pretty easily deal with that guard blob.
He'll contain it, if nothing else. Honestly, if he can kind of go, he should be picking up another flag here. Okay. So I think go Stromoviki rocks Shermanov. If he goes down, we're back to a -2. So, I mean, right now, it's impossible for Colonel Koenig to know this. With the Strafniki being pushed on in, this could be an absolute lucky time for him to get them to force out of that, because if they get into the trees, it's going to be so bad.
Yeah. You just have just enough fire support to slow them down a little bit. And also the backup of the machine guns and stuff as well. Yeah, Koenig has done a pretty decent job of... He hasn't gotten a major breakthroughs, but just enough map territorial advantage to get him that nice little last run, especially his balance. That's going quite well for him. And he does have, you know, layers of fire support. I mean, in the hill, he has a, you know, central line of infantry, begins the rear line of all his vehicles, which he has not committed yet, as he's just wanting them to stay back and wait for the guys to get close.
True, and we are going to see a recon Sherman over here in the center. Recon Sherman? No, sorry, just a flat Sherman. But the Saperos moving in on 2, and guys, let us not forget the Saperos over here do have themselves a nice little bit of a suit.
That's a nice thing of the French infantry. There may not be a whole lot of them, but they are great quality troops, and Reves are, you know, just... well, the main thing in general is that they all have bloody semi-autos, which goes a long way in infantry engagements. Thank God for the Garand.
Kind of the funny thing to think about the fact that the worst guy really, well, voluntaries are the worst, but one of the worst units you're going to be seeing from the French perspective is a group that still has 7 semi-automatic rifles.
Yeah.
And you're seeing right now, geez, IS-1's going to get bum rush. There's so much fire's going to come his direction here. He takes out the Char, but M10's there, the M8's there. He's going to stress him out for days, I kind of feel like. M10 survives. Does the Stuart get a line? I don't know. We'll see. But yikes, this is not going as well as I might be hoping. Bailed out. Yes, this is bad. This is very bad.
The IS run really living up to its heavy tank name here. Yo, I think he's so close to stressing it out and then just using the half track to surrender it. There we go. 50 cal from the side. Will it be enough? Oh, it's just so.
There we go.
This is so janky right here. I think his half track should be enough to rush and free. No, he breaks the fall back. There he is still falling back, not completely stressed. The IS run has been in a world of hurt, but living up to his name.
Causing a world of hurt as well, though. And with KV-1 in the center and the M10 now officially destroyed, send the M10 to the northern side here, but folks, don't kind of adjust your sets yet in favor of the French. I feel there's way too much as far as heavy tanks go for Xstark to be, you know, too worried just yet.
Yeah, the IS run holding up out front did a pretty good job. There we go, the 57mm finished off, and that's a bit of a shame. You only get one of them. Yeah, we does get some KV-85s as well, which can fulfill that role, but still, we're just back to another stalemate in the center. And Xstark is this B-phase. He needs to be getting going, and getting he is not in.
You might be saying he's balling right now, but unfortunately, that's just the 57 mil that's just been putting ridiculous fire. In fact, 57 mils in this match have been probably the unsung heroes thus far. There's only 4 of them, but they've been doing De Gaulle's work here.
Yeah, Koenig's has done a very good job of just setting up decent fire lanes, even though the IS-1 push didn't exactly work. It was a very good push from a micro level, because he had all of his reserve. He then pushed it all at once once he realized the initial attack from Xstark didn't go well. And it would have worked if there wasn't, you know, the lone IS-1 to hold that position. But it's just good use of keeping all his tanks back and then waiting for the opportunity to attack rather than just attacking in piecemeal.
So you're saying would have worked enough that meddling 57 mil. Gotcha. Well, I'll tell you what also would have worked is that Obuzi M4A3 in the back could be lofting rounds downrange, but he's not going to because he's a coward.
Oh.
I don't know.
Sacre blur.
Yes, soccer blurs in every direction. Strafniki, in the meantime, making a schlepping push over here, central position. But he's got 3.5 minutes, Xstark that is, has 3.5 minutes to really achieve something. And he's been down the entire match. So, like, if he doesn't do anything until C-phase, I think we'll probably see, well, it ain't gonna go well, let's put it that way.
Yeah, he just needs to try to make a push happen, but he's a little bit all over the place. The central position, he's really just been playing more defense, and his pushes hasn't been going well. I think it's just, yeah, he is just bringing Garda DP and Strafniki into CQC locations, and he really just needs, well, CQC infantry to fight these CQC fights, because the French can hold well, even with their limited numbers, and small long-range infantry.
Enough too, he also brought things like a ZIS-3 out in the open, which is a very curious decision since the ZIS-3 is an indirect fire weapon. You're not firing at vehicles, but hey, what do I know, man? I'm just a caster, so unique decision there. KV-1, kind of a nice little move here, moving on forwards at least to cause a lot of support for the guard DPs. But like you said so many times already, the guard DPs, not the dudes you want to bring to a knife fight. These are the guys you want to, sit up at range, just kind of say, you know what? How about you guys stay over here, sit still, Junior, and the rest of us will take care of this.
And worst of all, he just does not have. Okay, oh yeah, it does have one KV1, but it's not a whole lot of fire support here. And this is just a terrible area to push because there's just the 2 lanes of fire from both sides of the forest. You're just gonna get blapped. You really should be going along the more northern edge, getting into the forest, and then trying to clear out through. You know, getting into the forest rather than trying to just go right through the center, where you're just going to get blapped in that, well, valley of death.
I think tree hugging might be the way to have gone through this one. Not to say, yeah, yes, boys, we have them now, and charging right at the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So. Northern side as well, we actually are going to see an aggressive push by Shermans and half-tracks and an M10 and Voltigieres, and there's other couple of heroes? No, Nueves. So, yeah, this northern town is going to go into, I would say, Colonel Koenig's hands pretty darn quick.
Yeah, very classic French play, just half-track rush and, you know, managing to play the pulse of his opponent's line quite well, because that was a rather weak point, and he's going to nab himself another flag here, so, you know, putting pressure all over the place. And it's funny, Koenig hasn't done any crazy pushes anywhere, but these small little salient attacks here and there, really playing, well, the vast majority of the front line. The southern side's actually going pretty well for Xstark here.
I do actually love this double DB-73. So we have 1,600 kilos of bombs. Now, unfortunately, most of those bombs are going to fall long. That could have been amazing. Unfortunately, not quite getting the devastation he would have been looking for. But Sapiro is appearing on the flank of the Strafniki. He's known as the Commandant Batterie. But, and I must stress this, who cares when you control half the map?
Yeah, and even then they're still getting their legs in. Once again, semi-autos and everybody is quite a nice luxury to have as the rest and allies.
Very, very true. Down south, the Argonne missed it. Was almost a 12-12 for a second as the Soviets picked up a couple of flags by pushing south around the hill, which is a nice call. But here we are. We are now 5 seconds away from Phase C, and there's a half track picking up cheeky flags hither and thither. And the North, which had been relatively quiet up till now, still continues to be a devastating push from the French. This is quite shocking. Yeah, Stark taps out, and I completely agree with him.
Yeah, actually, quite funny considering, the French were more of that balanced income, but at heart, Colonel Koenig was playing that Maverick style, especially towards the end. He was, very, very effective French pushes, and he was pushing, I was going to say, like, the majority of the map, just everything north of the hill. He was real into attack.
Very much so. Very much so. And we actually see a rather low kill game. I think it's just, again, a consequence. We talked about this on Tuesday, that so often, I think these are essentially infantry divisions that just lose tons and tons of TDIs. But I will argue again, Ballin over here by himself, accounting for, what is that, a fourth, a fifth of the total losses inflicted upon the 126th?
Yeah, that's not bad. He do be balling.
I see 130. Yeah, he's got well over, I would say, 25% there. Well done, sir.
And then we got the Brochure, the Chapeau getting quite a decent amount of kills.
And that is roughly it for the French. And Merrill, another Voltigeur squad, doing pretty well for himself. I just went the other direction, of course. Major player, and wait, let's see. Out of the 960, I'm just doing a nice little rough kind of thing here again as well. Let's see, that and that. Yeah, he's accounting for probably 20% by himself. So well done there, sir. Well done. Other than that,
yeah, nothing else.
Yeah, Vasily gets himself a couple of kills and continues to add to his personal legend. But any final thoughts there, sir?
No.
Folks, in that case, then, as always, we hope you've had a wonderful, wonderful time, and we'll see you guys. I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangru. Take it easy.